Hello everybody and welcome back to my garage 0 to Hero. Alright, so as you can see I managed to get the Super Bee back onto its wheels and I have replaced all of the worn suspension parts on this car. So I decided to just bring it over to the storage barn over here where we can store it for the time being, because yeah, I'm actually waiting for a couple of parts, mainly interior parts. So we are going to be doing a little bit of an interior swap on this car and maybe change out the color as well, so that it's going to suit this car a bit better. And there's our lovely 69 Impala also parked in here, very safe and sound. So yeah, it's just a matter of leaving these vehicles here and just locking up this barn again, and then we can return to the shop and I'll show you guys what we have been busy with over there. Alright, so the barn is all locked up and we are ready to head back to the shop. So we are just going to jump in and try and fire this old truck of ours up again. So I've noticed it's starting to, crank a little bit longer than it used to, and we've got a terrible exhaust leak somewhere. So yeah, I've come up with a little bit of a plan. So let's head back to the shop and I will show you guys what I have in mind and yeah, what ideas I've got for this. Alright, and we are back at the shop, and yes, so as you can see our carport has been finished and they did an amazing job, and they actually also managed to put this nice slab of concrete down for us to work on as well. So yeah, obviously we have got our 2-post lift here, and yeah, this is the car which belongs to Richard, which we are going to be basically transforming this thing back into a stock version of the car. Or not really stock, but just a little less tuned, because this thing has got some serious ponies under the hood, and obviously the low profile wheels and tires and the load suspension and stuff like that needs to change on this car. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a couple of changes coming for this thing. So I have lifted it up nice and high, because then we've got a little bit of space underneath here to park another vehicle. But yes, as you can see, we also did manage to secure this electrical company truck. So when the electrician came and installed my lights under the carport here, I actually spoke to him about this old work truck that I saw. And he managed to get me the contact details, how to, basically purchase this vehicle off the people of the municipality. So yes, this truck actually runs and drives as it is. The engine definitely looks like it's seen some better days as well. But yes, my plan is to, over the course of the weekend, rip out this engine and transmission and transfer it over to our Ram truck over there. In other words, turning it into a diesel. As for the truck itself, I might try and fix it up a bit, just knock out some dents and see if I can get some new panels that needs to be replaced, like the hood and such stuff like that. And then we're going to try and maybe just fix this thing up a bit, maybe give it a new paint job, change the wheels and tires on it. And then we'll probably send it down the road again once we have managed to get this thing sorted out a bit. So yeah, that's definitely a nice little side project for us, a vehicle that we own. And yes, this thing only cost me $6,000, so yeah, it's definitely worth it considering we're going to have a decent engine for our Ram truck. So yeah, that is basically part of the plan. In other news, as you can see, we also have got a lot of parts for the Camino, yes, Cyclone's truck. So yeah, as you can see, I did manage to get the floor pan off, as well as this rocker panel. I did end up cutting it off, and I also swapped out the blown tires or wheels that were actually completely broken on this thing. So we are going to try and also put this truck back together somewhat today. So there's quite a bit of parts, and I'm hoping we're going to be able to get that thing looking like a Chevy El Camino again by the end of the episode. But yes, without any further delays, we actually have got the suspension parts for Hugo's daughter's car as well. So they are all here, and we need to get this thing put back together and also get the engine installed. And I also got a brand new exhaust for it. So yeah, that is my plan, to get this thing up and running again today. I also did go and replace the 2 tires that were a little bit worn, and yeah, we've got a matching set of wheels and tires for this thing as well. We also do have a new gas tank which needs to go into the trunk. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to start with this car, and just get it put back together and see if we can move it under the Dodge Challenger up on the lift and just park it there for over the weekend. So I will probably start working on this thing's body and getting it painted in primer so that we can hopefully get it resprayed next week sometime, so that we can basically button up this project. And then, yeah, hopefully we're going to also get to that Chevy Camino over there. So I think let's start with the gas tank, because we've got the gas tank ready to go. So we are just going to drop it in and just tighten the strap over there. So that is the first part of this job already done. So next up, let's grab the engine. Just going to drop it in. So this is in fact the 1.5 liter engine that came from Grandma's Lada wagon. We ended up replacing that engine, or this engine, with an inline 6, which is, yeah, a much more powerful engine. So for Hugo's daughter, I think this engine will do very well as a first car. It's definitely doesn't have a lot of power, but it's got more than enough power, and it's definitely better than walking, in my opinion. So yeah, let's also get this exhaust fitted. We've got a brand new exhaust for it. We're just gonna come under here and just bolt down those 2 bolts on the flange, and that actually, yeah, I think we've got everything. It's quite simple. It's very straightforward. Did I get the earth cable? Not yet. Okay, there we go. Right, so the earth cable and all the other cables are tied down. We've got the fuel line back in. So yeah, now we can start tackling the suspension. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the steering rack over here. And there's a bolt on this side, or a nut rather, and a nut over here, which we'll be able to get to, yeah, just like that. Not a problem at all. So next up are the tie rods. So let's get these tie rods into place, and we'll bolt it down there and also on the hub carrier. Right, so on the opposite side we need to replace the hub carrier. So we are just going to install this and get it bolted down over there. And then we can grab our tie rod. So let's get this into position. Just like that. And we'll bolt it down over there and also there. And then I see we still needed the hub. Where did I put the hub? I could have sworn I bought it. Let's just have a look around. Alright, I already fitted the hub. There we go. Alright, no, that was actually the old hub. Alright, so yeah, I must have confused it with the Dodge Super Beast parts. Okay, but yes, moving on, we're gonna also replace this upper control arm next. So there we go, that is a brand new upper control arm. Alright, so no more rusty parts on this. And then we also have got the shock absorber for this corner, which we needed to replace as well. Right, let's get that bolted down. And I believe that is everything for the front. So we do have got some calipers to mount next. So this is still one of the old calipers. So we'll just bolt everything down. Just like that. And then we'll do the new caliper on the front left. So we obviously replace this one. Right, so this car shouldn't have any more problems with its brakes. So I already fitted the master cylinder, so that is already into place. Right, so we are going to move over to the rear of the vehicle quickly. We're going to just install these 2 calipers. Right, so this one is the old one for the right. So let's get that fitted. Be sure to bolt it down. Alright, perfect. And let's go and do the opposite side quickly. Right, and we'll bolt that down over there, and also the 2 bolts on the back. Right, so next up, let's quickly do the last few suspension components, then we can start putting the wheels on. Right, so this is the lower control arm. Right, and we're gonna just bolt those 2 nuts down. And then last but not least, for the suspension parts, we are going to mount the new differential, which in fact is a 3.8 non-locked. So yeah, there we go. That is basically in place already. We just need to tighten up the last bolts over here. And that is suspension job done, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it does look like it. Right, so next up I'm going to grab the wiper motor. So we are going to mount this just over there and over there. And we also have got a brand new windscreen, which actually just pops into place like that. Very easy and simple. Alright, so next up, let's do these radiator hoses. So this is a upper hose and that is the old lower hose. So we just replaced the upper hose. So that is still good. The lower one, we can just reuse that one. So let's grab our screwdriver. So this is where the trickiness comes in. We need to unscrew the screws on the inside, just like that. All right, so we're just going to dispose of the old broken taillight and replace it with this brand new one. All right, so let's put this into position, and we're just going to screw these two screws down. All right, those ones are always hard to get in the corner, but there we go. So that is back into place. All right, so now I think finally we are going to be able to get the wheels mounted. So let's quickly grab the wheels and get them on each corner. And then we need to get our floor jack under this thing in order to lower it down. All right, so there we go. Those two wheels are on. And let's grab this one. And the last one. All right, so there we go. All the wheels have been replaced. And now we're just going to grab our floor jack. We're going to get these jack stands out from under the car. All right, so let's lift it up nice and high. And there we go. We can undo our jack stands and just get them out from under the car. And we'll just place them over there. All right, just like that. And then it's over to the other side. Alright, over this side we are just going to repeat the process. I'm going to put the jack stands under the table where they belong, nice and out of the way. And let's just grab the last one here quickly. Alright, and there we go. So this car is going to be officially back onto its wheels once again. So let's just lower it down all the way. And the tire pressure seems to be good. So I already did air the tires up. Alright, so let's just get our floor jack back into place over there. And then, yeah, I think the last things I need to do to this car is basically all the fluids. So we need to do everything. The brake fluid, we need to do the oil as well as the coolant. So, yeah, oh my goodness, let me just get this cap and put it somewhere safe. Alright, so let me quickly top up all of the fluids and I will bring you guys back up to speed once we are ready to try and fire this little car up again. Alright, so the oil, coolant and brake fluid has been topped off. So we just need to get a little bit more brake fluid. So yeah, I kind of ran out, but I think that should be enough just to move this car around the corner here. So the last thing I want to do is just put a little bit of gas in this tank, because obviously this tank is empty. Alright, so let's try and fill it up a little bit. I think we'll just put the whole thing in, and then that way we know we at least have half a tank of gas in this car, because it's got a very small tank. It's only 40 liters, and I think this jerry can is 20 liters, so that should give us at least half a tank of gas. Alright, so I think it's going to be a moment of truth to see if we can move this little car now and if it actually does start up. So let's give it a little bit of a try. And just like that, she fired up, no problem. So let's get the handbrake off and yeah, see if we can park this thing just underneath the Challenger over there up onto our two-post lift. So we're just going to take it nice and easy and be careful not to crash into the two-post lift at all. Alright, so there we go. That should do the trick. Alright, let's go back a little bit more. Alright, so there we go. We should clear with the door. And yes, this little car is definitely running and driving again, and it actually fired up much easier with the new engine. So yeah, as I said, it's just a little bit of body work now, and then we can get this thing put back together and yeah, basically send it back to Hugo. All right, so now we are going to do one big job on this El Camino. So yeah, what I was thinking is we are going to push the actual vehicle into the garage over here. There are still some usable parts on this torsion support, so we're going to try and utilize that. All right, so let's see if we can get this thing pushed into the garage. It's definitely not easy to push this thing, especially now with the front half of the suspension dragging on the ground because we don't have the torsion support in. All right, but we should be able to get it. All right, almost there. All right, let's push it a bit forward. All right, nearly there. We just need to get it up over this little bump. There we go. All right. I think the worst part is over now. All right, let's just push it a little bit further in. All right, I think that is actually good. Yeah, I think we should be able to work like this. All right, it's very bouncy because there's no shock absorbers, obviously. All right, so yeah, let's quickly go through some of the parts we have in the back of the truck here. So I think what we're going to start with is probably the floor. So let's get this into position. So luckily there is no battery. So let's get the floor in. And then we are going to use our fancy new MIG welder. So let's grab this and see if we are going to be able to weld anything yet. All right, so nothing to weld on that. So let's grab the next part, which will probably be the firewall. And I've got no idea where the firewall is in here. Ah, there we go. All right, so this is the firewall. So let's see if we can kind of weld the two pieces to each other. I think that should do the trick for us here. All right, so there we go. We've got the first weld, and the first couple of welds should hopefully hold this thing together. All right, so we're just going to weld all of these because I don't think this needs to come off again. And our welding machine has tipped over. I've got no idea how that happened. Okay, but there we go. So yeah, we've got our plasma cutter handy just in case we need to cut something off again. But I'm sure we'll be able to mount most of the stuff now. So let's go ahead and have a look at what else we've got. I think we are still going to need some parts. I didn't get the actual trunk floor yet, or the bed floor yet. So yeah, this is probably not going to go on yet. We do have some frame rails. So let's just get some of the stuff off. We've got a brand new hood as well. And we've got a brand new roof. All right, so there's the roof. And let's see. All right, so there's the frame rail for the right. So let's bring this a bit closer. And we also need the left one, which is this one. All right, so what I think we're going to do next is just try and get these frame rails removed. So I think all of the welds have been cut already. So let's just unbolt the leaf spring just like that. All right, so that is off and that is off. And let's see what other welds we still need to cut for these things to come off. Yeah, that's a bit tricky now because there's nothing much really attached to it. It's just a matter of getting the right stuff removed. So yeah, let's see if we do it this way. All right, so there goes the frame rail. All right, so that's the rusty frame rail for the right. And let's grab the new one. Now I think we'll just do them one at a time so that we can be sure to keep this thing sort of straight and in position. So there's no welds to do yet. We need to put in the middle frame brace actually. So let's get the middle frame brace. We do have, I think the middle frame brace is actually a part we're going to use from the truck. So we are bringing the torsion support closer. All right, so there's the frame brace, the middle frame brace. which was still good. So we're just going to reuse this. So that is going in over there. And hopefully this thing's going to reach. All right, and we'll just weld it over there. All right, and then let's get this leaf spring back on. So yeah, we are still going to work on the suspension. I'm just putting the parts we have back onto this thing in order to yeah, work on this truck so that we don't end up taking the whole thing apart and getting the whole thing unstable. All right, so let's just undo that. But before we undo the leaf spring on the other side, or the union, or the U-bolts rather, we are going to just undo them after doing up the other ones. And there we go, frame rail is out. It's definitely a little bit of a dicey way of doing this, but there we go, we've got that part in. Alright, so let's see if we weld it over there. Yeah, I think that actually works out quite well. Let's just put this thing back where it's going to be safe. Alright, so next up we're going to weld this into position, but I think we just need to get our leaf spring back on so that we have this thing sitting a little bit level again. Alright, so we're going to bolt that down, and it's obviously going to bounce around because we don't have the shock absorbers installed. Alright, we'll just wait for it to settle a bit. Alright, there we go. So that is going kind of well so far. It's not brilliant yet, but we are definitely getting there. Alright, let's just make sure that is into position. And then we can just weld it up over there. And also over there. So let's maybe grab these inner fenders. We still need to get a battery tray for this thing. So let's get that into position. And we'll grab the other one, which I managed to salvage. This is the used one that we took off, or the one that came off the truck. I managed to get that straightened out with the hammer a bit, so that is definitely going to save a little bit of money. Alright, so now we can finally get these things welded up as well. And over on this side. Alright, that is looking very good, very decent. Alright, so next up, let's see what else we can get mounted here. We've got some fenders we can probably get in, but I think let's do the torsion support first. Or the two torsion bars that needs to go onto the torsion support, just like that. And let's grab this one. Alright, so these torsion supports are actually still in good condition, and now this thing is bouncing around like crazy. Oh, don't have it. Alright, there we go. So torsion supports are in. It's still quite a bit bouncy, but yeah, it's not a big problem. We don't really have to worry about that just yet. Let's grab this. And that is definitely not going to go on yet. So we just don't have enough parts to get this these parts fitted yet. Let's grab our front panel, radiator support. Let's get that on so long. Alright, so we can get this welded into place. Alright, and I think over here under the thing we'll have to get two welds as well. Right over there and over on the other side. Just like that. Right, so I think next up we can start mounting the body panels, whichever will go on. I'm not sure yet if we are going to be able to get everything fitted yet. I don't think we'll get to the tailgate part yet, but we can definitely try and see how far we can go with everything. So our fenders can definitely go on. So let's get these bolted down. Alright, and I think let's go and grab our hood over here outside. So this can actually go on as well, if I'm not mistaken. So there we go. That is our hood back into place. And let's bolt it down over there. Alright, that is looking very good. We've got a sort of front end going on this thing now. So next up we are going to try the doors. So let's grab the driver's side door. And yes, I actually washed these parts, but they were all lying over there, so I didn't get it perfectly clean yet. But they are at least looking a little bit better. Alright, so let's grab this door, the passenger door. Alright, we're gonna just bolt this down as well. Alright, perfect. So that's our passenger side door back into place. And now what I want to do is grab the roof. So we can probably get this mounted just like that. And I think the only place for us to weld this would be basically at the front. So let's just see if we can weld it over there. And maybe over there. Alright, that is looking very good. Alright, so next up we're going to try this panel, the middle panel. And that will go into position, but yeah, I think maybe this is this is probably a bad part. It doesn't want to exactly fit the way it's supposed to. Yeah, so we still have to get this part as well. So we'll just put this on the scrap pile over there for now. Alright, so as for the rest of the parts, we can now start with the quarter panels. So that is very good. Alright, so I'm not too sure if it's gonna stay, but hopefully it will. Alright, so we've got that one fitted. Let's grab this one. And let's just weld it over there. Alright, so that is getting along very nicely. I don't think this tailgate is going to work anymore. It's also a bit banged up, but I did keep it just for in case. So let's get this rear frame brace. So this is the one that came off the truck. So that should go back no problem. And I actually see our welder does reach, but I just want to put it a little bit closer. Alright, so let's weld that up as well. And over on this side. Okay, so that is looking very decent. Alright, so let's just have a look around. I don't think these are going to go back in just yet. Or this tailgate. Well, actually, what do you know? It actually goes back on. So let's get our wrench. And we'll just come over here. It definitely needs to get a little bit of body work on this thing. But I'm sure we'll be able to do that then. Right, so there's the last bolt over there. Yeah, I think a little bit of banging with a hammer should sort that out. So let's try that quickly. Alright, let's see. Alright, so here goes nothing. Alright, it's definitely looking a little bit better. And we also got quite a couple of tubs of Bondo. This one actually is empty, so we can just dispose of this. Alright, so let's see. Alright, so let's grab some of our Bondo or body filler. Going to try and fill up this corner over here. Alright, it's definitely getting there. It might need a little bit more TLC, but I think it's definitely looking a little bit better. Alright, so what I want to do now is quickly just find my pry tool. We do have a pry tool. I just kind of lost it at the moment. So not sure where I actually put it. Maybe I put it... Oh, wait, there it is. Okay. Alright, so we're just going to rip off this piece of trim. So we need to replace that. That is definitely bad. Alright, so next up we are going to probably try and mount those inner fenders. Alright, so let's grab this. Alright, so that goes on. And we're probably going to have to weld it into place where we can for now. Alright, so we'll weld it over there. And I'm not sure if there's any welds back here yet we can do. Obviously, we are still missing the trunk floor, but that is looking very decent so far. Right, so let's check on the back of our truck what else we've got here. We've got the front panel. Right, so this can go on, and I see we do have the rocker panels, so we can also get those fitted. Right, so let's weld this part and that. Alright, so let's go and grab the other parts here. We've got the rocker panel for this side. Which side is this? This is the right hand side, so let's get this put on this side. Alright, so let's get our welding machine. Alright, let's weld it up there and over there. Let's also weld over here, and yeah, back here's another one. Alright, and I'm not sure if there are many welds under here, but I think so. Let's just check this over here on the torsion support. And we should probably also weld those up. And I think, yeah, we've got all the welds over there. Alright, so let's go and grab the other rocker panel for the left hand side. Alright, so let's grab this. Alright, so there we go. That is into position. We're just going to open the door. And I think our welder should reach. Let's just check this out quickly. There we go. Perfect. And weld it up there. And we'll also go under here because there's going to be a couple of welds we missed. And I think there's another one back here. And that seems to be everything. I can't really see. Alright, so obviously these ones, yeah. So I can't really see if there's any welds that I've missed, but yeah, I think we've got most of it. So this thing is already starting to look like a truck again. It's definitely a huge transformation from what it was in the last episode. Suspension work, we still need to do quite a bit. Obviously, we don't have all of the body panels. We still need the middle panel and the bed floor. I think that's what they call that. And then we can start putting a couple more things onto this truck. We don't even have a dashboard yet, but we do have all of the interior parts that came out of the old firewall. So let's see if we can start mounting those parts. So let's see. We do have the steering column, which is still very good. So let's mount this to the firewall. Alright, so bolt it down over there. Let's grab the steering wheel. Alright, so there's the steering wheel. Alright, so that is almost yeah, it's almost going to be drivable if we can just get a few more things mounted. So let's put our master brake cylinder in. Alright, so that can bolt down under there, and yeah, I think this is going to be easier from the inside because we don't have a dashboard. Alright, so let's just bolt it down over there and over there. Alright, great stuff. And yeah, I managed to salvage the 2 front shock absorbers, which will probably go back in because these are brand new still. Alright, so let's get that one fitted. And that should also help with the bouncing suspension that we currently have. Alright, so there's the front shock absorber for this side. We'll just get it. Come on, there we go. Alright, perfect. We still need to get the upper control arms as well. We've got a trailer hook over here. Let's get the pedals back in. Alright, so let's grab the pedals. And there goes the pedals. Let's bolt them down. And we've got the wiper motor over here. Let's put that back. Alright, that is looking very good. So far we are just getting parts back onto this thing. And this is our wiper linkage. Alright, so let's get that bolted down over there. It's definitely a lot easier without the dashboard installed. Alright, so we've got some new radiator hoses, or not really new ones, but the old ones that came off the busted radiator. So we're going to go ahead and replace them. Alright, so let's grab this one. And the lower one, it doesn't look too bad, but we're just going to check it quickly. Yeah, it's actually still usable, but I think the other one we've got is a little bit better. So we'll put this one back in. Alright, let's zip it down there, and then the upper hose can also go back on. Alright, so I'm not going to go ahead and fill up the radiator with coolant or anything, because this engine is still broken. So yeah, I did a little bit of an investigation, and it turns out the engine is actually blown. So there's yeah, you can see the hole over there. You can sort of see the internals of the engine. So we need to definitely fix up the engine. We might actually be able to get this engine block yeah, stripped and just transfer all the good parts over. But I do know Cyclone actually wants something special in this truck, so I'm not sure exactly what he wants. So I will discuss that with him a little bit more in, yeah, private messages or so on. But yeah, I can't really think of anything else to do. Let's just see if we got all the parts mounted. I think, wait a minute, there are still some parts over here. Okay, so these are the little inner panels. So let's get these welded into place as well before we forget about these. All right, so they go over here, and that is going to allow us to weld up a couple more pieces. All right, just like that. All right, so that is very good. So yeah, we should actually just get this thing sorted out without much hassle, because yeah, we don't really need that many parts for the bodywork. So let's get this one in as well. All right, let's grab our welder once again. All right, and let's weld it up over there, and another one down here. All right, that is looking quite flashy. All right, and then, right, so let's quickly go and have a look. I think there are still some front end parts that we are going to replace on this truck. We are going to need the screwdriver for this, because we've got a new grille and also the front panel. So this one. So let's quickly assemble this. Alright, so that's our new grille. I'll just screw that down into place over there. Alright, let's bring this closer. Alright, and we're just going to undo it over there and on this side. Okay, so there's the old grille. Alright, so we are still missing a couple of trim pieces as well, like the ones that needs to go around the headlights. But yeah, we definitely are going in the right direction with regards to the build and how Cyclone likes the Camino and how it would probably look the best, in my opinion. So the last thing that we still have over here is the new transmission support. So we're going to try and mount this quickly. It's just the matter of getting to the right place. Alright, so I think it might be a bit easier if we jack this thing up a bit. So let's quickly grab our floor jack. Just going to jack up under this new floor pan. Alright, just like that. And we're going to just need a wrench. I've got no idea where my other wrench went. It's probably laying around here somewhere. There it is. Alright. So let's get down under here. And we're just going to bolt up those two. Over there and over there. And then there are some bolts behind the exhaust here. And I think we got them all. So yeah, I think this is definitely... It's definitely getting there. Yeah, once we know what's happening with the engine and all that stuff, then at least we can start getting this project, yeah, ready for paint. It's basically already close. We just need to get a little bit of rust sorted out on this one fender. This fender, I also patched it up with a little bit of Bondo, so it's definitely salvageable. And yeah, we didn't make too much of a mess today, so it should be easy for me to clean up the shop and have a nice calm weekend. So let's just quickly go ahead and look around and see what else we've got still going on. So as for this truck, I actually did replace the leaf springs at the back, because in the last episode the one leaf spring actually collapsed. So we did replace both the leaf springs on this truck already, so it's definitely going to handle a couple of heavier loads from now on. So we've got a couple of pieces of scrap to dispose of again. I will check these seats if they are still good, but I can clearly see this seat over here is a bit bent, so we're not going to bother with that. And I think this one has also got some damage, so we're going to try and source a brand new interior for Cyclone's truck as well. I don't know what color we're going to go with yet. I'm actually thinking of this beige, because the beige is actually a very nice color and it actually looks fairly decent. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly how that project's going to end up, but we are definitely going to do our best to try and do everything according to what Cyclone would want. So yeah, I've got a little bit of work to do over the weekend. I've got to remove the engine from this truck. We're going to see if this engine is going to do well for us. I haven't even checked the oil in this thing. So let's just quickly go ahead and do that. Alright, so the oil looks good, but it's a little bit low. There's definitely... yeah, it doesn't look like it's terrible damage, but it's definitely been banged up a bit. So we are going to have to replace a couple of panels on this truck if we want to get this thing sorted out. And I do like this utility bed, although it's missing all of its doors. So I'm not sure if we should really try and fix up this utility bed by getting all the doors and the rear hatch and everything mounted. I was thinking maybe if we could try and maybe just source a regular bed and swap it out with this one. I'm sure there will be somebody who will be willing to give me a couple of bucks for this old utility bed if we don't decide to restore it. So yeah, that's maybe something you guys can help me out with down in the comments. Should we restore this truck in terms of changing out the bed to a regular bed, or do you think we should try and fix this utility bed, give it a nice respray, fix up the doors, replace everything, get some decent wheels fitted? Actually, come to think of it, we do have these wheels that I took off the green truck, so I did end up mounting the tires as well. So I wonder if this might actually work a little bit better on this truck if we do decide to go that route by fixing this thing up. We actually ended up replacing that rim as well, because the one was actually completely destroyed. Yeah, I think these wheels will actually look very good on this truck if we can just get them mounted. So I'm not too sure. Yeah, I think we should try and fit those wheels on this truck. I mean, we've got a 2-post lift. We just got to move the Lada coupe out from under here. So I think let's do it. I mean, if not, why not? Because it is Friday and I want to try and do a couple of things, and well, at least as much as possible. So let's move this thing out of the way. I think over here would be good for now. And let's quickly lower that Dodge Challenger down, Richard's car. Alright, because I do want to, I'm a little bit curious to see how those wheels and tires would look on this utility truck of ours. So we're just going to pull these lift arms out. Alright, on this side as well. And we just got to push it back so we don't bang the door against the 2-post lift. Alright, we're going to hop in. And yeah, this thing is, it's quite potent. It's got a lot of ponies under the hood. Alright, so hopefully next week we'll be able to start with this project. Alright, so yeah, this thing just wants to burn rubber. Alright, I think it's going to be fine if we just park it here for now. I will obviously put it under the carport again once we are done with this episode. So yeah, let's quickly get these big wheels and tires mounted to this utility truck. I think it's gonna improve the look on it a little bit. Alright, so the interior on this thing is absolutely mangled. We even got a CB radio over here. I don't know what that was used for. Alright, so yeah, as I said, this is a diesel. And I'm just gonna warn you guys, it doesn't have an exhaust. So it's quite loud, so just bear with me. Alright, I think we're just going to back it up onto the two-post lift here. And just more or less try and line it up center. Yeah, I think that should do the trick. Alright, man, this thing is loud without the exhaust on it. So we're going to have to try and source an exhaust for this engine. Alright, we are a little bit skew, but I think we should be able to get this thing lifted up high enough. We're actually right up onto the edge of the pole on this side. Alright, but let's see what happens if we try and lift it up. Just need to lift it enough to get the wheels off. I think that should do the trick. Let's just go a tiny bit higher. Alright, so let's grab ourselves a wrench. There's the spare wrench, so we'll just grab that one. Alright, let's bring these wheels a bit closer. Alright, let's grab this one, just chuck it over there. And this one can go over here. And let's grab the last wheel quickly. Alright, so we've got all four of the wheels ready to go onto this truck. So we're just going to unbolt the old ones here. It looks like we've got some spacers on here. I'm not sure if it's going to be necessary with these wheels we are going to mount. So let's see what they look like with the spacer. Yeah, I think they will still work. So let's just bolt that down. Right, I've got no idea if there's any air in these tires. I don't think I aired them up because I didn't use them after mounting the tires. Okay, so there's the wheel spacer back. Let's grab this wheel. Alright, that is looking quite mean actually. Alright, so let's get this one mounted as well. Yeah, this wheel actually looks like it's been banged up a bit in the accident, so it's a good thing we are changing these. Alright, so that is our wheel for this corner. Yeah, that is definitely looking a little bit different. Alright, let's do the last one. Alright, and there goes the wheel spacer. Let's just pop it back on. And there's our last wheel fitted. Alright, well, I think it's safe to take it down. Alright, so we don't have air in the three tires that I mounted the last, because this one I remember I still had it on the truck, so I aired it up. Alright, so let me quickly grab my air compressor and just air those tires up, because that'll give us a nice idea of what this truck is going to look like with these wheels. Alright, so yeah, here we go. Let's just adjust this pressure down a bit. I think 2 bars should do the trick, so let's go with 2 bars. Right, and the last one. Alright, I think that is actually pretty decent. This thing is already transformed just by changing the wheels on it. And I didn't expect it to actually look this good. So let's get these lift arms out from under it again. And we're just going to pull it away from the 2-post lift because, yeah, I want to have a nice look at this thing with the wheels once the wheels are straightened out. Alright, so we're just going to park it over here for now. Yeah, we can clearly see these wheels do fit the arches very well. It looks very good. I think this is definitely going to be a little bit of an upgrade for this truck if we do put these wheels on it. Because we do have those ones which are on our green truck. So we could probably also swap them around if we wanted to, but I actually think these work on our current truck. And yeah, the tires on those are also nice and all-terrain. These tires are more off-road. So if we do want to maybe convert this thing into an off-road version, maybe similar to what we did with the customer's truck in the second episode of the series, that might be something we can do as well. So yeah, but I think that is also going to be a wrap for this episode. We did quite a lot of work today. Cyclone's El Camino is starting to take shape. The little Lada coupe is definitely gonna be ready for paint very soon. And then we've got this new truck, which we are gonna hopefully try and fix up a bit and see what we can do with that. We still need to obviously rebuild the engine for this truck then if we do decide to go with the diesel in our Ram truck. But yes, we also have got this beautiful black pearl machine we need to start working on. It's gonna take a little bit of time for us to get all the parts for this thing ready. Because, yeah, this owner of this vehicle doesn't want it to be as heavily modified as it is. So we're going to try and, yeah, retransform this thing back into a somewhat stock-looking Charger or Challenger for him, rather. So, yeah, that is basically going to be it. So thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate every view, every like. And also, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I will appreciate it very much. But yes, until the next time, cheerio.